It's 11 p.m. You promise yourself you're going to start eating healthy. But then, you find yourself staring blankly into the refrigerator, searching for anything sweet. 5 minutes later, you are standing in your kitchen, eating chocolate syrup straight from the bottle. You look like a caveman who just discovered fire. Why do we do this? We are told it is a lack of willpower, or that our brains just need glucose for energy. But that is not the whole story. You are not lazy or weak-willed. You are actually walking through a modern supermarket running a 15-million-year-old genetic program. Welcome to Doodle Sapiens. If you want to understand the weird science and evolutionary history of being human, hit subscribe. Let's explain why your brain is actively trying to hijack your diet. The standard explanation for our sugar habit is simple. Sugar tastes good and energy is good. For 99% of human history, food was extremely hard to find. If a prehistoric hunter-gatherer stumbled upon a ripe berry bush or a dripping honeycomb, eating as much as possible was a massive survival advantage. High-calorie foods meant staying alive for another week. The people who ate the most sugar survived, passed on their genes, and created us. So our sweet tooth is just a leftover survival tool, right? Well, yes, but that only scratches the surface. This explanation does not explain why our bodies do not have an off switch for sugar. Unlike other foods, you can eat sugar indefinitely. If you eat a massive steak, your body eventually screams, "Stop, I am full." But eat a box of glazed donuts and your brain says, "Excellent work, let's buy another dozen." To find the real culprit, we have to look deeper than ancient humans. We have to travel back to a massive prehistoric climate crisis. First, we need to understand that not all sugars are created equal. When you eat bread or potatoes, your body gets glucose. Glucose is the universal fuel of life. Every cell in your body, from your muscles to your brain, burns glucose for energy, but table sugar is sucrose, which is 50% glucose and 50% fructose. And fructose is a completely different chemical beast. Fructose is the sugar found in fruit and honey, and it does not behave like glucose. Your cells cannot use fructose directly for energy. Instead, it goes straight to your liver, which has to process it. And this is where the evolutionary glitch begins. Fructose does something unique to your cellular metabolism. It does not just add energy to your body. It actively fools your cells into thinking they are starving. It does this by turning off a critical cellular battery. Inside every cell in your body are mitochondria. These are the tiny power plants that generate adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. Think of ATP as the energy currency of your cells. When you eat glucose, your cells convert it into ATP, keeping your cellular batteries fully charged. But when fructose enters the liver, it does something shocking. It uses up your cell's existing ATP faster than it can replace it. Dr. Richard Johnson, a researcher at the University of Colorado, has spent decades studying this metabolic pathway. His team discovered that fructose causes a rapid temporary drop in intracellular ATP. In other words, fructose drains your cellular batteries. When ATP levels drop, your brain receives an emergency alarm. It does not register that you just consumed calories. It only registers that cellular energy is dropping. Your brain panics, thinking you are starving, and triggers a massive urge to forage and eat more. This is the fructose survival switch. To understand why we have this self-draining battery system, we have to travel back 15 million years to the Miocene epoch. The Earth was undergoing a dramatic shift. A period of global cooling was shrinking the lush tropical forests of Europe and Africa. For early apes, this was an ecological catastrophe. The endless fruit trees they relied on began to die out, replaced by dry grasslands. Food became scarce, and seasonal winters became harsh. Apes were starving to death by the thousands. In the middle of this extinction event, a tiny genetic accident changed everything. A random mutation occurred in the lineage of our common ancestors. This mutation completely altered how their bodies processed uric acid, a byproduct of fructose metabolism. It was a classic evolutionary filter. The apes without this mutation died out. The apes with it went on to survive and populate the earth. This genetic accident is known as the uricase mutation. Most mammals have a functioning gene that produces the enzyme uricase. Uricase breaks down uric acid, keeping levels low and harmless. But during the Miocene crisis, a mutation broke this gene in our ancestors, rendering it completely inactive. We still carry this broken gene today because we lack uricase. When we eat fructose, our uric acid levels spike. Uric acid acts as a biological amplifier for the fructose survival switch. It causes oxidative stress in the mitochondria. This shuts down ATP production even faster. It tells the liver to immediately convert any available energy into fat. For our starving ape ancestors, this was the ultimate cheat code. Even if they could only find a few sour, half-ripe wild fruits, the mutation guaranteed that every single calorie was instantly stored as fat. This fat was the only thing that kept them alive through the barren winter months. So, the uricase mutation turned early apes into super-efficient fat-storing machines. In the wild, fat is gold. It is a portable battery pack that keeps you warm and keeps your brain functioning when there is no food. Apes with the mutation stored more fat, survived the famines, and passed the broken gene down to us. This means you are a direct descendant of the apes who were the best at getting fat from fruit. But the mutation did not just change our metabolism, it changed our behavior. Because fructose drops ATP, it triggers a state of hyperactive foraging. It makes animals bolder, more impulsive, and more willing to take risks to find food. This was essential when searching for rare fruits. But today, we do not have to search. We do not have to climb trees or fight off predators for a handful of wild berries. We just drive to the nearest convenience store. To make sure we never ignored sugar, evolution wired it directly into our brain's reward center. When sugar hits your tongue, it triggers taste receptors that send a signal straight to the brainstem. From there, the signal spreads to the forebrain, releasing a massive wave of dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of anticipation and desire. It is the chemical that says, "This is amazing, remember what you just did, and do it again immediately." But here is the catch: your brain adapts. Over time, constant exposure to high levels of sugar floods your dopamine receptors. To protect itself, the brain reduces the number of receptors, leading to tolerance. You need more sugar to get the same chemical high. This is the same neural pathway hijacked by addictive drugs. Your ancient brain is wired to treat sugar as a rare, life-saving prize, making it nearly impossible to ignore. This brings us to what scientists call evolutionary mismatch. An evolutionary mismatch happens when an adaptation that was beneficial in our evolutionary past becomes harmful in our modern environment. For 15 million years, our broken uricase gene and our fructose survival switch worked perfectly. Fructose was only available in the late summer and autumn when fruit ripened. Our ancestors gorged on fruit, flipped the survival switch, stored fat, and then burned that fat off during the winter famine. The switch was turned on for a few weeks, and off for the rest of the year. But in the modern world, winter never comes. We have constant, unlimited access to high-calorie foods every single day. Our environment has changed faster than our DNA. We are running Paleolithic software on modern hardware. To make matters worse, modern industrial food manufacturing has weaponized this evolutionary mismatch. In the 1970s, food scientists popularized high-fructose corn syrup, or HFCS. It is incredibly cheap to produce, highly stable, and comically sweet. Suddenly, massive doses of pure fructose were added to foods that had never contained sugar before. Soda, salad dressing, bread, yogurt, and pasta sauce were flooded with fructose. In the wild, fructose is wrapped in a matrix of healthy plant fiber. This fiber slows down digestion and protects the liver, but soda and processed foods contain zero fiber. The fructose hits your liver like a metabolic tidal wave. Your ATP levels crash, your uric acid spikes, and your brain is instantly convinced you are starving in the middle of a barren desert. All this happens as you sit on your couch drinking a 1-liter soda. Because we consume sugar year-round, our fructose survival switch is permanently stuck in the on position. And the biological consequences are devastating. When the liver is constantly flooded with fructose, it continually converts excess energy into fat. This fat accumulates in the liver itself, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. As the liver struggles, it becomes resistant to insulin. Insulin is the hormone that tells your cells to absorb glucose from the blood. With insulin resistance, glucose levels rise, leading to type 2 diabetes. Meanwhile, high uric acid levels restrict nitric oxide in your blood vessels, raising your blood pressure. This cluster of symptoms, obesity, fatty liver, high blood pressure, and diabetes, is known as metabolic syndrome. It is not a collection of separate diseases. It is a single, ancient survival mechanism that is running completely out of control. So, the next time you find yourself standing in the kitchen late at night, staring at a chocolate bar, stop beating yourself up. Your craving is not a sign of moral failure. It is not a lack of willpower. It is the ghost of a starving Miocene ape whispering in your ear. It is trying to save you from a global climate crisis that ended 15 million years ago. Your biology is trying to protect you. Although this understanding does not make sugar any healthier, it does free you from the guilt. Understanding the glitch is the first step to overriding the program. You cannot change your DNA, but you can change your environment. By reducing processed foods and drinking water instead of liquid fructose, you can finally turn the survival switch off. What is your absolute biggest sugar weakness? Are you a chocolate person, or is soda your downfall? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Doodle Sapiens. See you in the next Doodle.